What up brothers, it's Clipper King returning for another Star Wars review on the figures you see in front of you. It is a double pack and it is Han Solo and Chewbacca from A New Hope, or Star Wars as we called it in the 70s. I am going to score both figures separately, although the review will be done together. And then what I'm going to do is add the scores together, divide it by 2 and give you an average score, which is the score I will give the complete set. So obviously one figure is going to be stronger than another on a certain category, the other will be strong on another, but overall I will give you an average score for it all. So, just before I start on this review, I'll just say I am uploading all the Star Wars reviews together, so I'll be doing these two, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, so all the reviews will go up at the same time. Pick the review you want to watch, but please make sure you watch them all. And then when you've done that, if you want to go and check some of my older reviews, I would appreciate it. And then don't forget, subscribe, like and comment if you would be so kind, brothers. Before we get into the scores, I'll just show you each pose. Just got Chewbacca in an upright position, as if he's just growling or grizzling, whatever you want to call it. He's got his hair all posed. And then Han Solo, pretty much a cowboy position going off. He's holding his belt. He's just got his trigger hand ready to grab his blaster. Yeah, both really nice figures and a really nice set, but how nice you're probably thinking. So let's crack on and get some scores on the doors. Right, so the first thing you notice is the overall size of the box. Much bigger than any other of the Star Wars releases. It's got to be. It's got to be tall because of Chewbacca, and obviously it's got to be wide because it holds 2 figures and all their accessories. It is the black on charcoal front with the artwork of the figures front and centre. Below that, we've got the chrome Star Wars logo and the character names. Nothing much to see on the back, which is usual. And the more eye-catching artwork is definitely on the inlay slip. Again, showing the production shots. Some posed up with the blasters there. Another shot there. Millennium Falcon with the X-Wings trailing behind. And then a nice picture of them both together with the stars in space background. But overall it is just an average standard card with the shoebox style design, the lift off lid. Does fit in line with the other figures, but it's not the most stunning box in the world. So again, I'm going to score the packaging a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to the likenesses, and I'll start off with Han Solo. I've not posed him with Chewbacca here because I want the room to be able to get my hand around with a camera on it and try and get you all the angles. I'll start off by saying I think Hot Toys have done a really good job of Harrison Ford at this age. Again, not perfect. I'm one of the people who actually like the DX Indiana Jones. I don't think that were perfect either, but I thought it were close enough. Now, the way I understand it is Harrison Ford is pretty much one of the hardest characters whose likeness it is to get. Although, I've heard that said 1,000 times, but I've seen various versions of it, some closer than others. This is, I would say, definitely better than Indiana Jones, but again, not perfect. I mean, all the key signs there, the slightly crooked nose, not too bad at this age, I've got to say. The scar under the bottom lip, I think the eyes are pretty good. The hairstyle is pretty good with the longer sideburns. I do think it's good from certain angles, but weak from others. Pretty much like Luke. I think it all depends on how you pose it and where the head's tilted or pointing, but I'm just trying to get you a straight on view of it, so you can fully see it in sort of a 3D kind of image, so to speak. I will say as well, the other thing that struck me is, because I got this the same day as Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan's sculpt is very, very detailed, the wrinkles and everything, this sculpt comes across very plain and very clean looking. I know he's a lot younger, so he's not going to have the frown lines or the crow's feet or anything like that, but it just seems very, very clean, and it reminds me of an old figure, the old Hawkeye figure. When I said the sculpt is very soft, it's, I don't know, very neutral and very lightly painted, and that's the feeling I get with this. Although it is really good, I don't know, it's totally expressionless, and I just think it's a very, very clean looking sculpt. To score it, I can't give it the perfect 5. I want to, because I think this is a really good line of figures and all do look awesome displayed together. And I would hate to say that this is weaker than any of the others, but it ain't perfect. And if I get it a 5, that would be suggesting that it is. So what I'm going to do is only knock it down and give it a 4 out of 5. Let's move on to Chewbacca. Now rolling on to Chewie. When this figure was shown, when it was getting ready for release, I looked at it and I thought, fucking hell, what have they done? They made the mouth section sort of from the nose right up into the mouth look really, really bulbous. And it looked like the hair started sort of down here and down here. When you get it, you pretty much need to brush it into the directions and try and make it look accurate. Now, I've seen some really, really good ones. And just to mention one, Jason Bath, his pictures on Facebook have been really, really good of all the Star Wars figures, particularly Chewie. It seems like he rebrushes the hair every day and puts new pictures on, which I can't fault him for, because this is a figure that there's just endless possibilities with. You could really just restyle him constantly, and just to prove that, I will just do a little face. That's him with his fingers in electric, or somebody's rubbed a balloon on his head. This is him with his side parting, with all swept back. Looking cool as fuck, I've got to say. And that one's more the Return of the Jedi look, sort of with the centre parting look going on. Like I say, you could just mess about with it endlessly until you find the hairstyle you want. Either way, it always looks like Chewbacca, and I can't think of a better way they could have done it than they have done. I think it's awesome work. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes it does look like Harry from Bigfoot and the Hendersons, but you're going to get that. It's basically a 7-foot bloke in an air costume, so you are going to see that resemblance. But like I say, you can get it as accurate to any scene as you want, because the hair is really, really well done, and it is reposable, so that is a right touch. For that reason, I am going to score the likeness. In fact, before we do it, let's talk teeth. As you can see, the mouth and the teeth are sculpted, the nose and the eyes. Again, nice paintwork in the eyes. And then the rest of the head is pretty much just a, I don't know, just a skull shape with the hair attached. I will say as well, some places, mine in particular, it were really, really thickly like glued onto the side of the face there. So you can still brush through it and get it looking loose. But you see it's got some product in there where I might have to just slightly dampen that, clean that out, or even put some more product in once I've got it in a style I would like. But I'm going to give the likeness a 5 out of 5. I think it's that good, and it is totally unmistakable. Going on to outfit. You see, I've now got them posed together again. Just show you that. I'm in an action pose, or just getting ready to blast off. So we'll start with Anne first. Right, obviously, he's got his trademark waistcoat, which is sort of a black colour, or really, really dark navy blue. And then he has this off-white shirt kind of thing. I will say the shirt has a wire up there, so you can really fold that back on itself, or you could have it straight up into like a grandad collar, which is a nice touch. I will say it creases like mad. When you bend his elbow for a while, it takes some getting the creases out, but it does look accurate, and it is all nice materials. We'll just show you on the back of the waistcoat, he has the 4 padded section, and then this sort of padding in this large pocket style thing here. So just moving around. Moving down to his navy looking trousers, and then they've got the red staggered line up the side. He does have one faux leather belt at the top, and then his ammo belt around that, which fastens at the back, the clasp at that side, because you would need to take the belt off to put the Stormtrooper belt on. Moving down, it does wrap round. The only downside to that is when you want to swap it to the Stormtrooper belt, you've got to keep pulling the right boot off so that you unclasp it and you slide it down off his leg, and then put his boot back on, and then put the Stormtrooper belt around him, which, I don't know, I wish that would have just been a magnet clasp there, if I'm honest, so you wouldn't have had to keep taking the boot on and off, but that's just a minor niggle. So yeah, moving down, he has a real fabric boot. Now, here is where the point gets docked. I do like the look of the boot, and I think it's really accurate, and it keeps the articulation in the ankle really good. Downside is, because it's got a long ankle peg in there, sometimes you position it and the boot collapses into this space here. Now I know you could pad the ankle peg out so it keep the boot away, but I don't know, should you have to? And the other thing were, when mine first come, it had bent in so much that this strip of leather down here is a separate part to the boot. It is attached, but it had bent in that badly that you were actually peeling off the boot. So I had to take that off completely, re-glue it, and then reattach the boot at the back. So just bear that in mind. As you can see, that strap down there, and he has one on the other boot as well. So like I said, the boots do collapse at the back. I'd seen that in some other reviews, and I thought, oh, it's not what they're moaning about. But in hand, it does make the boot look a little bit unsightly in certain poses. But I know why they've done it, so you can get certain stances and have the fabric boot or the faux leather boot. But all in all, I'm really happy with it. I think it's a really good representation. It does capture the look of A New Hope really well. It fits in perfectly. I will also say some of his hands are sculpted with gloves, and they're a nice touch because then you sort of lose the split between his wrist and his hand. So I do like the gloved hands as well. But all in all, really nice. Just that one niggle, and that's why I'm going to only give Han a 4 out of 5. Moving across to Chewbacca, obviously don't wear an outfit, so what I am going to score here is the air suit. It is basically a true type body underneath, a large true type with all the joints, and then covered head to toe in this bodysuit. And I will say, not many things from Hot Toys blow my mind or make me sit back and think, fucking hell, how have they done that? How have they developed it? How have they got it so good when other companies are nowhere near them? That is the case with this. I'm not telling you that anybody else hasn't told you. The fact that you can also brush the hair and it don't constantly fall out, it doesn't become matted and knotted, it always looks really nice. So you can see no divide between the head, down through the shoulder, the way the hair grows, the more tightly curled hair that runs sort of down his chest, down his stomach, and then down to like where his balls would be. And then the change of the colour through the hair, so top of his arms, this darker shade, and then into the like a ginger colour. Top of the legs darker, and then down under his knee, the hair gets longer and it gets lighter. Now, some people have recommended trimming the hair, particularly around the feet, but I don't particularly want to do that because I think you can get the look you would need just with a little bit of patience, the comb, a bit of hairspray, not to cack it all up and make it look totally wet look, but just to hold it in place. So what I do is I sweep it round as if, like when you look at your hair on your arm, it sort of grows in a direction. So like from the upper part of the arm round onto your forearm, and that is the way I've tucked his hair there. Also, the split between the hands and the outfit is pretty seamless because he has hair on the back of the hand. So again, you can tease this, twist it and pull it and make it look like it would hang naturally. That's the hair from the other hand. Again, really well done. No obvious place where it goes from the hair to the sculpt to the hands. Like I said, really, really nice touch. And bear in mind, because you can move it and it will hold in positions, if you wanted to show it like it were being blown or it being blasted or something like that, you could position the hair like that and it would stay there. So you could have a look something like that, although I twist it around. So, absolute work of art. Like I said, first thing for ages that I've looked at or got from Hot Toys and thought, fucking well done on Chewbacca, brothers, you've done a right job. That is the case in most categories. On the outfit, definitely is a 5 out of 5. Rolling on to articulation. Let me show you the pose first. I've got him leaping off the platform, mid-air, knocking some shots off. You see, with the help of the dynamic stand. Right, let's crack on to Han Solo first. Like I said, the articulation for his ankle is really good because he wears a faux leather boot and he's on a ball joint, so that's pretty good. You get the double bend through the knee, again what's good. Swivel in the upper leg. Hips work really well, multi-directional. Hindered a little bit by the trousers because they're a little bit tight at the top, and obviously you've got 2 belt rigs going round. Swivel in the waist, and then tight ab crunch in the middle. Now, Above that, everything else gets really tight. The shoulders are super tight. Sometimes they actually creak when you're turning. They don't feel like they're breaking, but they've been screwed in really tight. Another thing that absolutely fucking pisses me off, and I don't understand it, single bend elbow on a figure that's going to be covered by a shirt all the time and holds a blaster. Now, if you've got a double bend elbow, you can get his hand up and tight so his gun's at the side of his face. You can never get natural lines on a single bend elbow. You're just restricted. And also, he does come with a blaster, this one, so he is going to be using a gun two-handed, which again, you never get a natural look because it's just a single bend. Pisses me off. I don't understand it, and I'm knocking it down on that, although that pose is pretty nice. Top of the neck is the ball joint, and the head moves pretty freely, so that's okay. The only niggle, like I said, is the fucking silly elbow joints. Why only singles, Hot Toys? One thing I do like is the fact that the ball joint is actually sunk right into the wrist and right into the hand. So it's not very visible, although it does stop articulation a little bit, but not annoyingly so on that. Let's see, there's hardly a divide between the hand and the wrist. So I do like that about it. But as I said, waist down, really good. Chewbacca, it might surprise you to know, is actually more articulated than Annie's. Ball joint for the feet, so they move freely. Double bend in the knee, as you can see there. Good rotation, top of the legs. Multi-directional hips. Rotation at the waist. Crunch at the abs. Multi-directional shoulders. Double bend elbows. Wrist pegs, so the hands will move freely. And the head also moves freely. You never feel like the suit's pushing against you. And you never feel like you're pushing it into a position that it just won't go. So the body on Chewbacca is definitely more articulated than Annie's. So to score him, I'm giving Anne, because I don't see no reason for them fucking elbows being single bend, I'm only giving Anne a 3 out of 5. Chewbacca, I am going to give a 5 out of 5. Moving on to extras, and I'll probably also cover the value while I'm doing this category. Show you the pose first, side by side, all shooting in the same direction, like that, yeah. Right, so Han Solo, what does he bring? Firstly, and probably most importantly, is his trademark blaster. We all recognise it from the Greedo shot first scene, which is bullshit. Han shot first, he weren't fucking about. Fuck what Lucas says, who's he? So that's nice work. The paintwork and the sculpt is amazing on it. Moving down, his belt rig with the capsules on it. Little device on the side. The belt buckle looks good. It's faux leather, magnetised clasp, really like. So I consider them extras. Moving down, the Diorama Star Wars base, what they all bring. The name plaque is removable, so you can put them all touching each other to make one large base. I do like that. I've said that on all the Star Wars figures. The instructions, I would have a read of that because it basically tells you how to swap out the air without causing any damage and how to put the Stormtrooper Belt on. So that is worth a read. We do have the separate air sculpt. I'm not even going to bother swapping it because I think that's only for when they're in the Millennium Falcon cockpit. So there weren't really a pose I wanted to use for that. So it shows you it has got the head set on and it does fit onto the air sculpt, and obviously you just swap out the air. This were the double pack from America, so it does include everything. So obviously I got the Stormtrooper belt, just fastens at the back with Velcro. It does have the holster for the Stormtrooper blaster again, same as, fucking I'll get my words out, same as what Luke brought. There is articulation on it, it's really well sculpted and painted as well. Set of wrist pegs, and then a set of relaxed hands that are ungloved. Moving across to the gloved hands, these again I think are more for the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, so it's like the sort of the lever grabbing hands with the gloves, a trigger hand, and then an hand like he's got on now, but gloved, so like a posed hand, and then a relaxed set of hands with the gloves on. So not a bad selection, not shitloads, but pretty good. To score it, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Because you got a couple of weapons, you get the spare belt, the spare air and headset and everything, so I think it's worth a 3 out of 5. Also, obviously the diorama base. Moving across to Chewbacca, you do have his sash, obviously with the ammo sections on, leading down to his man bag or Wookiee bag, which is faux leather, really nicely done. He also brought the large Stormtrooper blaster with articulated parts, so the tripod at the front, and there's some moving parts in here as well. I'm not going to do it while he's posed with it. Moving down, the diorama base, same, but obviously with his name plaque on, which is removable. The instruction manual, which is worth a read. The headset, obviously, like I've just said, when he's piloting the Millennium Falcon with Han. Moving down, just one spare set of hands, and they are relaxed. Obviously the air on them, and then the sculpted hand in the middle. Set of wrist pegs, and his crossbow caster, or bowcaster, whatever you want to call it. Nicely done, great sculpt, very iconic weapon. Got the sights on the top, strap hanging off it, and it does hold it really well. So again, nice touch. Again, not a load of extras, but does cover most bases. They were thinking outside the box, giving you the parts for when they're inside the Millennium Falcon. So again, I'm going to give Chewbacca also a 3 out of 5. Moving on to the value, I actually bought this box set and the Obi-Wan Kenobi from America. I made a contact with a seller out there. Basically asked him if he'd got both, because I don't want to see Chewbacca. He said, yeah, I've got Obi-Wan as well. I said, can you give me a price for all of them sent together, shipped to England, but I want you to make sure you mark them up as a gift or as a low value gift and not declare the true value, because I don't want custom charges when they got here. He knew what he was doing, or he did when I spoke him through and explained everything. Would you deal outside eBay? He said he would, but he didn't want to be known for it. I got the price, and it worked out to £485 for the Han and Chewie box set and Obi-Wan. Now I think he was selling this for about £350 anyway, so it meant that I got Obi-Wan for 135 quid. Now, not only can you not find these anymore in Hong Kong, I think you're still waiting for them to be released in UK, and pretty much America's your only option. Now, I would never say buy from America if you're going to risk getting the custom charge, because on an item of this, you're looking at like nearly another £100 on your customs, which makes them unaffordable, really, in my eyes, and that's why I won't use Sideshow. But if you can set up a contact with a trusted American seller, then it is definitely worthwhile, because the price I got these for, like I think on release, I would have had to pay about £400 for Han and Chewbacca, and that would have been to have got them separately, maybe just over that. So to have got all three for 485, I think I've got a really good deal. I will also say as well on these, because I'm going to lead straight into the full score. While I had about 4 months off, when the only figures I were getting were the Gangsters Kingdom figures, and I've not reviewed them. I didn't think about doing any more reviews until the Tyson came. The only figures that sort of pissed me off, it came out that I weren't getting them, were this set, because I thought, fuck, I wouldn't mind just having them and not bothering with the other Star Wars figures. But then I saw Obi-Wan and I thought, bastard, that's nice and all. And then Darth Vader came, I thought, well, he's iconic, I need him. And then Luke would come in, I thought, well, I fucking could do him and all. So these are the only ones that did piss me off. And also, I've mentioned him earlier, Jason Bath, his pictures it kept putting on Facebook were just fucking teasing me. A lot of people said that they buy things on the strength of my review, and his pictures definitely pushed me to get this Star Wars range, because I just kept seeing in the pictures how good they could be made to look, and I thought, you fucker, I didn't really want to spend another fucking load of money, and now I'm going to have to, because they look that good. And they are that good. They are really good figures. So, on the value, because the price I paid, I'm going to give them both a 5 out of 5. Because if I work them out at 350 quid for the set, that's £175 each. Both figures are definitely worth more than that. And I actually thought to myself, I'm not going to buy them from America. I'll wait till the English sellers start selling them through the Facebook groups. Then I'll get me sent a cheeky little deal. The honest truth of that is, I can't see these fuckers coming down anytime soon. I'll probably be wrong after Christmas when everybody's skint, everybody will be selling them, and the Star Wars hype's blown over, or we're all fed up with it, and then there'll be a shitload in the group. But I'm thinking, oh, fuck all that, I'm buying them now. So that's what I did. So like I said, on value, I'm giving both figures a 5 out of 5 because I can't fault the price I paid. Better than Hong Kong prices, definitely. To sum up, Han Solo has got a 22 out of a possible 30, which is Not an awesome score, just a little bit more than Darth Vader, but it is a really, really good figure. Once you've got it posed, it does look awesome. Chewbacca actually got a 26 out of a possible 30, and that is a really good score, which is understandable because he ticks a lot of boxes in a lot of different categories. So like I said, what I'm going to do is add them scores together. A 22, 26 is 48, divided by 2 to get your average, gives you the box set total of 24 out of a possible 30, which is a good score any way you slice it. So another review done. Make sure you please check all my Star Wars reviews out. Please let me know your thoughts on them. Sorry for making you wait all week, but I did want to launch them all together. But for now, it's the Clipper King, and I am out of here.